Hello there, it's Michelle from CNC Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in New Zealand, and I wanted to show you how to make a cute card from the Nothing's Better Than stamp set and matching dies. So I've done two cards here, Love You More Than Coffee or Love You More Than Cookies. And it's quite a simple card to do, but it's very cute. And then the inside has a little picture as well. And it says, you make everything better, so that's why you love them more then. So this set actually has 4 different things that Nothing's Better Than: coffee, cookies, chocolate, or cocktails. So I'm going to show you how to do the chocolate one this time, but it's the same idea as this card, and I'm only using a few colors. So the background cardstock is Crumb Cake. I'm using Crumb Cake ink for the background stamping of the images, and then I'm using Petal pink cardstock for the heart, and a bit of white, Whisper white cardstock for the inside, as well as the parts that are cut out, and Early Espresso cardstock. The only inks I'm using is Early Espresso and Crumb Cake. So it's an easy card to do. You can mix up the colors, use what you have, change the colors out if you want something different. But I like the subtle tones of this card. So this card, you can make 2 cards from 1 piece of cardstock. This was from the A4 cut in half. Score it to make it into an A6 piece of cardstock. So I'll show you how to make this. And so start, as I said, with the Crumb Cake cardstock. And then we have an inside piece. So whatever size card you're using, my inside piece is 10 centimeters by 14.3 centimeters. And then some scrap pieces of cardstock to cut out your elements. So depending on whether you have one element, like here in the coffee, or if you have several, like here with the cookies, depends on what size your spare cardstock is. You also need a piece of Early Espresso cardstock. That size, just you could use a scrap, but it does need to be big enough to put the Love You More Than die onto it, but you can do that at an angle, and then whatever else you want. So in this case I'm using the word chocolate, so this one is plenty big enough for those pieces there. But if you want to know, that is about 6.5 by 10 centimeters, that piece there, but that's more than big enough for what I need. And as I said, your scrap card needs to be big enough for your elements, so this cuts out the 3 pieces of chocolate, so that's plenty big enough. And I've already cut the heart out with the Petal pink cardstock. I will be embossing that after I put the words on. The die I used to cut it out is from the Be Mine Stitch Framelit dies. So you can use whichever heart you want from that set, whatever fits for the card. There are lots of different heart choices. You could maybe even do lots of little hearts and change up the card. So there's those big hearts there, and then there are also several other stitched hearts. So you could choose whichever you'd like to use for the heart for your card, but I use the largest plain one that has a little stitched part around the inside. So I've already cut that out. And then I used a few little hearts from the Heart Epoxy Droplets. They're 3 different sizes. You might not have been able to see them, but see, they're just right there. Just a couple hearts on there just to add some interest. So let's get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is stamp the background of your card. So as I said, this time around I'm going to go with the chocolate. So I'm going to use my Crumb Cake. Hopefully it'll work because it's getting kind of dry. I need to re-ink it. So with that, you just want to stamp all around it. So whatever cardstock you use, if you just use the same color, it gives you that kind of tone-on-tone effect. If you don't have the same color, you could use Versamark, and it'll make it stand out as well. Sorry for this shadow in here. Let's see if I can adjust that. No, I still have shadow. It's getting on evening here, so ink it up, and just you could just go random, or you could line it up if you want them to all look the same. Give it good pressure and straight up. So I think I will try to do rows, somewhat rows on here. And this set comes with a second stamp to do the inside, the dark shading for the inside, but you can just use pens to color the inside in if you like. Now I'm just going to go over a bit to fill in the other gaps before I go to the side. And because these are all kind of sitting all kinds of different ways, you can line it up however you like. I could go crazy and just go all over the page. But remember, you're going to have part of this covered with a heart. I'm just giving firm pressure to make sure that it does come out. Now, if you have a very juicy ink pad, you don't want to push too much because you'll end up getting the images on the inside. You get too much ink and it'll give you blobs on the inside. I was angling it, now I'm kind of going straight. Do things different when I'm on video than when I'm not. Just because I'm trying to make shorter videos. I think I talk too long in my videos and they take too long to do. Okay. And there we go. So that just gives us a lovely background there. And while I have this stamp out, I'm going to just stamp in the bottom corner of the inside. I always like to give something, put something on the inside other than words to give it a bit of interest. So I'm just stamping at that bottom corner. Now you should always stamp first before you adhere it in case that didn't come out. I can turn it the other way. So that's all I need for the crumb cake at the moment. And now the early espresso stamping. On the inside, I'm doing the You Make Everything Better, or you could leave it blank if you want. And trying to stamp straight on camera never seems to work for me. Yep, it's crooked. Yay! And then I should have actually stamped that in the darker color, I just realized. Let's see if I can go over it. See, I'm going to have to look straight over it to see if I can do this. And if not, I'll turn it over. So, nice thing with the photopolymers is you can see through it. There we go. Not that bad, almost exact. So, what I want to do, oh, I need that out. While I still have that out, is I want to do some chocolate. So I'm going to die cut this. So on my scrap paper, I just want a few pieces of chocolate. And this one's much juicier ink pad, so it's coming out much better than the other one. So I'm going to try to get 3 sets of chocolate on here, or bonbons. They almost look like little bonbons to me. Just have some room around the edge so the die will cut them out. You don't want them too close because the die needs to cut them out. Okay, so now that I've got those done, I'm going to go back to my crumb cake. With my crumb cake, I'm going to add some interest to my chocolate. So I'm going to try to stamp right over the top here. hard to do it on camera, but when you're doing it sitting down, just look straight over the top. Once you get close, just make your decision and press it down. There we go. So you could just color those in, but that just makes it a quicker stamping. Okay, so I'm going to try to get different depths in this chocolate here. And let's see if I can go again and get it lighter. Might not have enough ink on it. Let's see. Oh, it is a little lighter. You can see there's a little bit of color there. And now I'm going to take it one step further and try to do it dark without smudging it at all. So if I stamp it straight away like this, you won't even see the outlines because it'll be too dark. So I'm going to stamp off, and then I could stamp again, but I want to see how that would look. So that's first generation stamping, second generation, because I've stamped off once, third generation. So I'm going to try to get it even. The other thing, tip for stamping off is try to stamp off evenly, so it all comes off in a straight set. And then I'm going to stamp that, second generation. There we go. So with just 2 colors, I've ended up with 3 different looking chocolates. So those are the ones I'm going to cut out. I'm also going to die cut those, and while I'm die cutting, I am also going to die cut the words "love you more than." So these are all in one die, makes it easy to cut all those words out. Although if you only wanted something like the word love, then put it through your die cutting machine with only the word love covering your cardstock. So you can have lots of interesting words from this die. And then I'm going to take the one that says chocolate and cut that one out as well. And then here's the dies for the pieces of chocolate. I will cut those out, and then I will return. Okay, got that all cut out. Here we are. So as you can see, I didn't need all that cardstock. But when you cut these out, you could actually use the negative space. So what's left over is called negative space. So you could do something, cut that piece out and then put it onto another piece of colored cardstock and actually have the negative words as well. So we've got all our words here, and I got my 3 sets of chocolate, different shades of chocolate. So now I accidentally die cut it too close to the edge there, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to now glue the words down, "love you more than." Now with these words, I don't need to glue all the little bits. I always like to figure out where I'm putting things first, because I'm going to emboss it, and that will help to press the words into place. So when you stick it down, just the thicker parts is all you really need to glue. So just some of the thicker parts onto the die, and the die cut piece will be sufficient. And then I'm just kind of roughly figuring out where I want it. The other nice thing with glue is it gives you wiggle room to move it into place. And I can just see that I'm going to be using this set a lot in the future, because not only does it have a lot of really nice things, you know, the chocolate, the cocktail, the coffees, etc. I'm thinking of things like "love you more than Christmas," "love you more than," and we have the I think the well-written dies. We have some other dies that have words, so you could have "love you more than my sister," "love you more than my brother," you know, for sibling rivalry, things like that. I was thinking of using the small letter dies that have recently come out, and cutting out the word hot, so you can have hot chocolate, and then you would use the little cup that's in there. Instead of having coffee in there, it could be hot chocolate. We had some tea sets before, so you could get the words tea from there, or again, just using the letter dies, spell out the word tea. So you could do things in here for tea. Oh, trying to grab it without getting glue all over me. Love you more than. Always helps to talk to yourself when you're crafting. Does anybody else do that? I'm self-employed, so if somebody asks, I just say, I'm having a team meeting. I'm not talking to myself. So that's the Love You More Than. Now I am going to emboss this with the subtle embossing folder right here. And so when you do that, you need to decide which direction you want your embossing to go. So we could have the lines going up and down, we could have the lines going sideways, or any other way, but they do go a certain direction. So when you pop things in there, keep that in mind. I like to have mine going, what's it called? Vertical. So I'm going to emboss that, and I'll be right back. So there you go. So hopefully you can see, yeah, I think you can see. There's a bit of texture, and because I embossed it after I glued the words on, the texture went right into the letters, and it helped to press the glue into place. A little tip is, if you do that technique and any glue comes out, make sure that you actually clean the inside of your embossing folder. Just a bit of soap and water is fine, because you don't want it to have sticky on there, and the next time you go to emboss, it sticks to things. I learned that when I did a class, and then the next day I tried to use the folder and things stuck inside it. So now we've got all our elements. Let's put our card together. So we'll put the inside in. Usually I use the double-sided tape, the tear and tape, but for the video I will just go quickly with a bit of glue. You don't need a lot, just thin lines sufficient. I don't put it too close to the edge, because I find if I put the glue too close to the edge, it always seems to squish out. And Tombow dries tacky, so it doesn't dry clear, and if it comes out, you have a bit of sticky tackiness to it, which can stick your card shut. So if you do it just about that far away from the edge, when you put it together, you can just use your bone folder to help spread the glue into the corners. There you go, there's the inside, here's our outside. Now, I'm going to pop this up, but first I'd like to put a little heart on it. You could add a ribbon on here or anything else you'd like to give it a bit of dimension. So, the Pick-a tool is really good for getting the edges up. What I find best is if you actually push up the side, and then you can get your tool right under to where it's sticky. And then I just popped it down at the bottom. Whoop. Push it in place. Oh, that's the wrong side. I flipped it over. So see-through, I can't tell which side's sticky. There we go. Now, there we go. So it's just a subtle heart. You're only going to see it in the light, but not straight on. So little heart there. I'm going to pop that up with a few dimensionals. Now I like to make my dimensionals last longer by cutting them in half. So I just go up the center line between them, and that gives me half dimensionals, and that's good for some of the bigger projects. Some people just, they don't mind using the full-size dimensionals, but I prefer to get things to last as long as possible. I've always been that way inclined, trying to save everything, paper, energy, time, money, any of that type thing. I'm pretty much an environmentalist at heart, so I don't like to waste a lot, and maybe one tiny bit. So basically what we have there is 1, 2, 3 dimensionals. And just peel those off. You want to place that on before you put your words, so you have a better idea of where your words are going to go. And if you have a lot of dimensionals and you're not sure if you've taken the back off all of them, you can, do what I do and just stick your finger to see if they're still sticky, but then that takes some of the sticky off. If you put it at an angle, I don't know if you can quite see that, you can see they're shiny. So if they're all shiny, the backing's been taken off. This is not shiny, the backing's still there. The other thing too is you could put a use a permanent marker like a blends and draw over the back of these, and then you'll be able to tell the backing because it'll be a separate color. Now this one's a bit different than before, so I'm trying to see where I want to put the words because it's going to take up more space. I might offset this. The other nice thing with this card is when you're stamping your background, if you find you've stuffed up and something doesn't look quite nice, you can cover it with your heart. So before I stick anything else down, I'm going to maybe have a look at where I want to put my different chocolates. I might put them layered over, or I might put them at the bottom. That's what takes the longest, is trying to decide where you want them to go. Now I really need the word chocolate kind of there, so I'm just thinking. Might just put them all over. Could possibly tuck them around there and then have the word chocolate coming over them. That's the hard part, deciding where to put the words. So I'm just going to stick this down and then work from there. So again, you don't need it on the skinny parts, just a bit of glue. If you have the adhesive sheets that Stampin' Up sells, it would be a good thing to do. Put them on the back of your cardstock before you die cut it, and then you can just peel the adhesive sheet off the back. But you don't want to have too much glue because you don't want it oozing out the sides and getting everything sticky. So what I do is just a few dots. So just a few dots here and there. The other nice thing actually is with this word you can curve it. So it can be, curved around if you want. I think I'll put it right between all those chocolate bits at the bottom. So fill in that gap. And then maybe have them come in like that. Okay. Thinking dark one on the back. Yeah, I like the look of that. So once you decide what you're putting and where, the bottom layer, just glue it straight down. So we're just gonna go a bit wonky on that. Okay, and then you can go up a layer, or you can go straight on there. Yeah, I think maybe that way. So I will go just straight on that one. My chocolate. And then this one I will pop up with some dimensionals. going to use some mini dimensionals on this guy because it's that small. So just a couple mini dimensionals on the back of the third one so I can pop it up. And pop that one up, maybe more over here. Okay, so there you go. Love you more than chocolate. You make everything better. So that's how to make a love you more than card. And there's 3 choices. You've got coffee, cookies, chocolate, and you could even do cocktails if you want it. So that's just using crumb cake and early espresso with some Petal pink cardstock for the heart shape. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out any future videos. And I will list all the products used at the bottom of this video. So if you want to purchase any, you'll be able to see the names of the products and the product codes. Contact your demonstrator to purchase. If you live in New Zealand and don't already have a demonstrator, you can go to my website at michellekritchley.stampinupnet, and you can shop directly from there or contact me if you have any questions, as well as you can look at my blog at papercraftaddiction.blogspot.co.nz. I'll be doing a blog shortly about various cards I've been making with this lovely Nothing's Better Than suite. And if you'd like to see other videos, please subscribe and have a look. I've done some other ones with Cookie Monster and some more colorful designs with this set. So if you like to see more, have a look at those videos. Thanks so much for watching and have a nice day. Bye!